Oh man, it's way up there this time. All right, let's see. Where are you? Oh, you know what? That will help there. You see it yet?
Yeah, just got an alert. There we are.
I'm always last to get it there.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but man, what were we talking about before that? I had an interesting point.
Jeezy?
No, before the Jeezy thing.
Damn.
We're getting older.
I guess. Let's not say that.
Oh, look at Perk. Perk, you early, man. Yeah. But yeah, the whole Jeezy interview with Nia.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that when you say real guys don't cheat. I wonder, is that like an underplay, like hitting?
Is he trying to smash her? Maybe.
He is single.
He's shooting a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm sure he won some points with that.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
That line there.
That was,
you know
well,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That was timely. You got to give him credit for that. Okay. What will resonate with my audience right now?
Yeah.
Let's go with the real men card.
I don't know, man. I've never been that type.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't. I'm not saying that was Jeezy's angle. I'm just saying, like, in general, I can't use that angle. Like, any type of angle to down another guy or another situation to boost myself to get a one.
Oh, that's just not your move.
Nah.
Okay, you're not very slick then.
You could be slick in other ways. That's not the only way to be slick.
I mean, it is like, well, it doesn't have to be like downplaying, but I'm just saying like when you're talking to somebody, like you could, if you know something about them, like there's certain things that are maybe topical or would resonate, particularly with that person. So clearly with Nia Long, that's one of them.
Yeah, I'm just going to choose another one.
Yeah,
like hey, I can act too. I had an acting career back in the day. I don't know. I'm not going to use the cheating angle there.
All right. I mean, yeah. But I mean, like the idea of it is that you don't. The idea of doing it is that you put it out there, but you don't put it out there directly to her or name names.
Yeah.
But you put it out there, just like he did.
Yeah. So
it's like the little, the jab. Then is she attuned enough to catch it? We don't know. But like, it's not a judgment of her, but you're talking to people, and sometimes they get it, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But that would have been funny.
It would have been. You know what's the new thing on Facebook and social media is the highlight. They'll highlight everybody.
Highlight.
And it'll go to like your entire. I just don't like that. Back before that, it was like the tag you and 99 other people or whatever.
Yeah.
You had that.
I still get those.
Oh, okay. They haven't. They're not up to the times. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you fucking don't. You know what I do. Like, no matter what it is, it's us as the podcast. Maybe you're a cook. Maybe you're a fucking whatever person who does hair or whatever.
Yeah.
These people know what you do, man. Because you're only tagging like your people, the people who follow you.
Right.
It's not like you're gonna get. It's not like you're tagging people who are not your friends or not associated with you.
Yeah.
These people know what you do. They just.
Yeah,
whatever.
I get it.
They don't want to watch. They don't want to. Their hair done by you. They'll fucking reach out. They know how to find you.
That's right.
And
we're not here to do hair.
Maybe your last song was just not as good as you think it was. Stop forcing people to listen to bad music.
Force people.
It's not a good angle, man.
Oh, I hope we haven't been guilty of that.
No, I refuse to go down that lane. I refuse to. Let's start.
cut these soul ties. Time, 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 time. All we got is time, 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 time. All the things we could have been benefits is friends, friends with benefits. Girl, you know I'm into it. Girl, when you be talking shit, you know I'm into it. It's all in my intuition. No, I'm feeling it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just look at me with your inner peace. Yeah, 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 yeah. Know you feeling me and my inner pieces.
Because better days are ahead if he keeps making good songs. Won't be homeless forever.
No, won't be homeless forever. Welcome back. You guys are back on the bench on the Bench Podcast with Bubba and Pink. That was Heartless to Society. Yes, came across that guy on social media. Part of his story is that he's homeless. He's made that video, shot that video himself off his phone. All right. And like you said, man, he has a nice sound, nice voice.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to pick him up, do something with him.
Hopefully,
man. Don't forget, On the Bench played your song, man. Come on, give us an interview.
That's right, man.
Don't forget about the little people. On the Bench Podcast is available on all, and I do mean all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We got a pretty dope show for you guys today, as always. Okay. Is this the right one? This is not the right one. You know what? I did not put it up. I just remember as I was going to it, I was like, damn, I forgot to put up the show. Damn. But that's okay. We're going to be talking about some LeBron James. We're going to be talking about some Florida Classic. All right, Orlando Florida Classic here. Some Deion and some NBA stuff, as always. And some, interesting stuff with Jeezy in his interview, et cetera, et cetera. All that good stuff. Shout out to everybody in the chat so far. Kobe, Fishman. Perk, everybody, appreciate y'all as always.
We'll answer your questions and engage as well.
I need you to help me out with something, Pink.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into which friend this is or whose story this is or anything like that.
Okay.
But I want to see what I land on a specific side of this. So I want to see, am I going crazy? And see if you land on my side. Because what I like about you is you'll tell me, now, I think y'all base here, man. Or you'll tell me, yeah, man, you're right. All right?
I hear you.
All right. So let's go with women 2021 and over, somewhere around there, right?
Younger women.
Younger, it doesn't matter, just 2021 and over. All right? So it could go whatever. All right, 2021 and over. I picked that specific age because I feel like at that age, you're mentally developed. You know what's going on. All right. No more wolves should be covered over your eyes. Over simple stuff.
You're still kind of young, but you're damn sure ready.
Who was that? Keep sort of R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, man.
All right. Okay, so when you enter, no, when you have a sugar daddy or a sugar mama situation. So this is for young men and young women. I'm going this cross. Okay, so when you enter a sugar daddy or sugar mama situation, all right?
Okay.
All right. And you are of age, okay? And there is of course, with the situation, there is an agreement that is made upon, okay? Maybe specifics wasn't talked about, but you know that, okay, this person, you're being a sugar daddy or sugar mama to this person because on your side, okay, in general love terms, or you're just talking to this person, most likely you wouldn't be dating this person if it wasn't for this arrangement, okay? All right? And on the other side,
I love where this is going.
And on the other side, you're entering this conversation because this person has access to money that you don't have right now. Okay, maybe you'll get in 5-10 years, whatever, or you'll be rich, you'll be LeBron James, or you'll be Oprah one day. Who knows? But as of right now, this person has access to money that you don't have. Now, how much of that money, how much, whatever, whatever, that could be discussed. Okay, now, what's going on, Ebony? I would love for you to chime in on this. We're talking about sugar daddies and sugar mamas. So, this is an exchange. This person, it says, okay, I'm going to look out for you, give you money or pay a X amount of bills or whatever, right? Whenever you need it. May not be all the time, but whenever you need it, okay? And then on the flip side is, hey, you're going to, whatever, sexually satisfy, hang out, whatever. We're going to do what we do, okay? Would you, up to this point, does all of that make sense? And is that typically what a sugar mama, sugar daddy relationship consists of?
Yeah, I mean, I
So
would
far.
say it's somebody who has financial resources that would not be in the other person's dating pool in a normal circumstance, but for the money. Sugar daddy, sugar mama, that's just straight up prostitution. That's what that is.
That's where I am heading to.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
what
beat
it
me
is.
to it. So, okay.
Because I really feel like most male-female situations are a form of prostitution.
So if that young lady or young guy, if he feels like hey, I'm not a prostitute. Like the thing about the world in this United States or wherever you live, some things are the same thing. They just have different words for them. Like if you go into the store and you say I take 2 Skittles and a Gatorade and I leave the store without paying. Yes, technically I went into the store and I took some Skittles and Gatorade and I didn't pay. I used the words I took and didn't pay, right?
You didn't say steal.
But that's stealing.
Yes, no, I agree. No.
That's fucking
but see, like,
stealing.
this is the whole. This is where, like, in these situations, and they're super prevalent in all these forms, but these are these situations where people do mental gymnastics to avoid calling it what it is. They come up with, sugar daddy, sugar mama. You are being paid to provide sexual pleasure. That's it.
That's really what
You're not doing this again. Like a person's like, you're not just having sex with them because you're attracted to them and you want to have good sex with them. You're doing it to this person because they're providing some financial resource to you. It might be paying a bill. It might be whatever, setting you up in an apartment, whatever the situation is. You're exchanging your sex and companionship for financial resources. And again, typically, if you look at the dynamic, the sugar daddy or sugar mama is not somebody that person would ordinarily just date on their own accord if they ran into them.
Right.
And start like a relationship with.
Yeah.
But people don't want to be prostitutes. And people don't want to be Johns, really. And so you kind of dress it up. Oh, well, we care about each other. Like we do other stuff besides sex. That is the only tie that binds you. The money for the sex.
That's it.
The rest of it is just kind of irrelevant. You could go around and have friends and talk to people and spend time with them. But if you're not being intimate with them, they're just friends. There's nothing to that. And if you're not exchanging financial resources for that, that is just friends. But if that's the core of the relationship. But I always think, like, the beginning, and I wasn't sure where you're going with it, I do find it super interesting. It's like, these things are not, like, put down in writing. So what are the terms of this arrangement? Like,
do people discuss the terms of those arrangements, especially if it's specifically this situation of a sugar daddy or a sugar mama?
I suspect that they typically don't, because again, if you are too explicit, if you are too detailed in what you're doing, it brings it closer to the truth of prostitution, and people are uncomfortable with it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So like, we're gonna keep it. Well, he helps me out when I need help. Well, when's that? Every fucking month when the rent's due? That's what it is. And so like, you'd rather not keep it that way. And like, again, you don't want it to be like, oh, he paid for my hair and nails. I better give him an A-game performance. You'd rather just say, oh, we just.
And then what? And then on the flip side, if it's whatever, he only took me to a restaurant twice this month. I don't owe him anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's gray areas there. It's I don't know, man.
Or if the sugar mama or the sugar daddy's like having some legitimate financial concerns or issues.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's the status of the relationship now? Yeah. That's crazy, man. I don't know. It's just, that's super weird. But yeah. I would, to the best ability you can, stay away from these situations. It's just prostitution by another name.
Yeah, and see, the thing about it is these other countries, they have socially accepted prostitution, normalized it. And no, seriously. And so we look at it in such a negative way. A negative, it has a strong negative connotation when really, it's simple. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's what you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, people are free to do what they want to do, what they can tolerate, and that's the thing, I just, there's, but I even think like a lot of common dating is basically falls into the same category. So like if you're like those, like Shannon Sharp was talking to Ocho the other day.
Yeah.
And it's like, he took somebody somewhere and they ordered some big lobster and he's like, well, that better include a condom because if I'm buying that, we're
Ain't never heard from her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's yeah. I mean, hey, that's a similar situation.
It all is.
We got one comment said there's a whole app seeking arrangements. I didn't know about that app.
I heard about it.
So they basically got an app for sugar dad and sugar mamas.
Right.
And then Ebony said it's called Friends with Benefits, not prostitution.
Friends with benefits are friends that enjoy having sex with each other. They're not. There's
bind
not
to any financial.
There's no financial stipulation to that.
Yeah.
Foul on Ebony. We're going the other way.
We're going the other way, man. I think you could do better than that, Ebony.
Yeah. Everybody knows what friends with benefits are.
Yeah, that's
it's
no gray area.
Yeah, it's two people that enjoy having sex together that don't want to pursue a relationship.
There you go, with no relationship title. And some people are friends with benefits without wanting to be friends with benefits, but that's just what you are.
Wait, what's that scenario?
When a woman wants more.
Oh, no, then everyone's just unhappy. That's just disillusionment and misery for somebody. And eventually most people.
Yeah, because it's going to bleed.
It bleeds. Yeah, that'll bleed, man.
Yeah, it will. It will.
There's no Band-Aid for that.
You said you don't get to determine the definition of friends with benefits. It kind of just is what it is. It's not us defining it. It's it's been this way before we were born. It's just like
exactly.
This is not some something that was just created in the early 2000s or something.
We're not trying to define it. We're just telling you what it is.
Yeah, that's just what it is, man.
It doesn't. It's already been defined.
Yeah. You're
just choosing to misuse it. That's your own peril.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is.
This guy got into got into it with a person there, so.
What was the crux of the
I don't know.
Too close to home?
No, just you try not to ask specific details.
But you gotta have a sense of what's going on.
Well, I know that the person does not want to be a prostitute. Not a prostitute. This person is a church-going Christian who doesn't want to be a prostitute, but wants a sugar daddy. Okay, and that's kind of the situation. So, want to be respected, and doesn't want that label. Okay.
You got the label when you took the finances. That's it.
That's it.
Nobody wants to be a criminal, but when you steal something and they catch you, you become a criminal.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know anywhere else around it. I don't know.
But that was my original point. Is like people will go to such lengths, to avoid the obvious, to avoid the truth. Like you are a functioning prostitute. You're taking financial benefit, financial resource in exchange for sex.
Accept it. Be good with it. Live with it.
Yeah.
Or stop doing it.
Yeah. Turn over a new leaf. Get back in church. Double down at the choir.
It's the first time I saw you advocate for that.
Nah, never really. I was actually, in the back of my mind, I was thinking about the booty-eating pastor. It's like, it's going to end up one way or the other.
I'm sure he knows a thing or two about sugar daddy.
There's a pastor or a deacon somewhere with some game. You'll fall.
Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We got some sports stuff to get into, but this is semi-sports here.
Semi-sports, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the Florida Classic, man. Florida Classic is coming up, and the Florida Classic means a few things to different people, right? So we have this thing here, and it's a staple in Orlando. It actually started in Jacksonville years and years and years ago, probably before a lot of these people were born here, and it's been here in Orlando for a long time now. And it's like two sides, right? So it's almost like a thing where people in the city enjoy things, and then you have alumni from both schools who enjoy things, right? So already I'm starting to see, a lot of flyers for parties and events and things like that. So, one of the main staples for the Classic is like the Battle of the Bands, right? And that is the one event surrounding Florida Classic that is kind of both for the city and alumni. People in this culture, we love live bands. We love the music, and these are two of the best bands in the country. I know every HBCU, they're gonna claim their band is the best and all that stuff. But FAMU and Bethune Cookman, Marching 100, Bethune Cookman band, they have two of the best bands in the world. Okay, and so they battle and they get down in there in the stadium there, and it's fucking awesome every year. All right, so that's a staple. And something that a lot of the people come to here. Now, like before we started the show, Pink asked me, was I going to the game? Now, the game is typically really alumni and, current parents and people who really love HBCU football. They'll go to the game and check the game out, okay? So that I'll say that's for that. But now, outside of the game, before, during, and after, it's like this huge thing where there's hundreds and hundreds of vendors. Some of the best food you'll fucking find in the city. You have a bunch of food vendors. You have people selling clothes, people selling weed, whatever you're into. Jewelry, I'm sure you can find it.
What's the most interesting thing you've seen for sale outside the Classic?
Coochie.
Oh!
Right, and then you go around, and the women are looking. It's just it's beautiful women that's just walking around, man. Florida Classic. So you want to come there, you got to come there. I mean, depending on what you're coming for, but you want to come looking presentable as possible if you're a guy and that's what you're into, because they're going to be out there. All right, we're going to be out there walking around, and so that's something that also that a lot of people enjoy, because that's one of the top things that we come to the Florida Classic for, is just to be out there with the vendors walking around. People want to be seen, et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, you have all of the events and clubs, parties, things like that. That's more so for the city as well. People coming. So they have. I know I saw Sexy Red is going to be here. If you're into that sort of thing.
With child.
With child. And a couple of other big artists are going to be here as well.
Can we just take a moment and say how unattractive she is? And it doesn't have anything to do with her being pregnant?
Yeah. Just very unattractive. And as I said, her time is coming to an end shortly here. And that's why I support her going out with the baby and just rock this thing on out. It was an unfortunate time to have a baby, but, you got to rock it on out, man.
Her next trip to Orlando will be to walk OBT.
The other thing is the car show. Car show is Philly for the city. Car show, people love to come out, watch, see all the guys who've been working all year on their cars, on the dunks, on this and that, all the rims, the music, the paint jobs. I love to see the paint jobs myself personally.
What is kind of the sequence of event? When is the car show part?
The car show is always last. The car show is usually on Sunday.
So
that sort of closes things out. That's usually the last.
Now,
thing.
the Battle of the Bands, does that occur at halftime of the game?
No. So the Battle of the Bands is its own event. So that's usually Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Sort of sets things off, so to speak. Yeah.
And where's that held?
At the stadium. So it's held at the stadium. I haven't seen. It's never really changes. I'm pretty sure it's at the stadium. It's always at the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a staple, man. It's here. It's coming here and be here next weekend. So I'll definitely be out there. unfortunately, FAMU is a really good team this year, and Bethune-Cookman is not. And that's just sometimes that happens in rivalries. And but Bethune-Cookman still holds the all-time lead. FAMU will not, they'll never catch us in my lifetime.
Oh, it's that bad.
It's not that bad. I'm just very hopeful that it'll never happen in my lifetime.
Or you don't plan on living too long.
It's one of the
we have a 3-win advantage. Not in my lifetime.
So, so you guys enjoy it while you can.
While Bubba can.
I love to say during my 4 years that FAMU never beat us. So I take that and I'll love on that.
And you had some zero statistical contribution to that. Those 4 wins.
I don't know, man. I was covering the team. I like to think some of my good articles boosting those guys up. Some of those articles made it to the Orlando Sentinel.
Nice.
Yeah. It actually led to me getting a job at Orlando Sentinel. I worked for them.
Look at this guy tearing it up for Bethune.
I'm a semi success story. They won't be giving me my own thing like they did Shannon Sharp, but
right.
Maybe they need to look into that.
Once Dwight Howard dropped a dick on you, you were out.
That was kind of over after that. Right?
Oh, what might have been.
But yeah, definitely you guys go out there and check out the Florida Classic, man. It's going to be a ball as always. Let me see what we got here. They're talking trash about us to each other.
Oh yeah.
They stay harassing and talking shit. And
really?
Said these two are wild.
Oh, we're not wild. We're just the voice of reason and truth.
Yeah. Kobe is asking over under 28 for.
For what?
No, the he's saying 28 can Bethune cover 28.
Oh, bang.
I honestly,
I thought that was numbers Bubba was going to collect outside the stadium. Over under of 4 would be more likely.
I know, right? Well, no, not now, man. That's back in the day, man.
Back in the day.
But 28, I don't know, man. FAMU is good. They're good. They're good. They have a real chance to win the conference this year. We have a real chance to finish last in the conference this year. So I don't know. 28. It's a rivalry. You always have that piece to it. It's a rivalry.
Big spreads are so tough.
It's tough, man.
Because, again, you don't know, FAMU could get control of the game, put in some backups, a late touchdown, cuts it to 20 or 25. It's what do we,
Yeah.
Very tough. I would almost uniformly stay away from large spreads.
Yeah.
There's just too many variables that you just don't know. You know? And like you said, the rivalry thing could be a real thing. You could, they could put up an inspired half or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end of some games, like, a team's got possession of the ball. There's, they could run the clock out, or they could try and get that one extra score, and you're just kind of like, well, who's going to make that decision?
Yeah.
Are they worried about my bet or not?
No, that's true, man. Ebony, stop spreading these lies. There's absolutely no reason or truth between the two of you. What kind of statement is that, man? We speak truth all the time.
I know. I think that's a completely false statement there. If we're truth seekers, you've been exposed.
That's all. It's okay to say you were wrong. Friends with benefits is not the same as being a prostitute.
Glorified prostitution.
They're two completely different things here.
Poll some neutrals on this.
That's what we need to do.
Maybe we need to have a poll.
We need to have a poll.
Yeah.
We need to run a poll and see. That's for sure. Is this a question? We're going to start going out to these big events. For the Classic, maybe. That's too busy. But we'll start going out to Orlando Magic games and things like that. I wonder if these are the type of questions we can ask these people.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think we can.
Maybe. Yeah.
Now
check
we can.
the temperature.
Now it's in the crosshairs.
And we can poll ourselves. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Classic, I wanted to give a quick shout out here. And hold on here. I'm gonna need both my hands here. Need both my hands here. There's a dope event going on during the Florida Classic. Where are you at here? The NBA is coming to town to the Smith Center. Okay,
The
But it's-
NBA.
but it's not the NBA that you guys are thinking about here. All right. Oh, it's already there. So the NBA,
National Booty Association.
nothing but ass. This is a basketball league that is coming to the Smith Center. All right. And Orlando is playing against Jacksonville during Classic Weekend. They're coming. This is something I've been asking for a very long time. I'm not going to say anybody stole my idea, but maybe they did. But I appreciate it.
They're coming,
fulfilling.
and you might join them.
I appreciate them fulfilling it. I think that this women should have went to this. WNBA should have went to this 1,000 years ago.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago. This is the new wave. Things. Let me tell you something. The world would leave you behind if you let it. Okay, you have to catch up with the times, and shout out to these guys for understanding where we're headed and where we're going here. And the NBA, nothing but ass. They're going to be at the Smith Center, right in the middle of Orlando. It's not far from the stadium at all, and
It's not far from where we're sitting right now.
Tickets are definitely. Tickets are on sale. Okay, you can catch it for $15 now. That's on sale, or $25 at the door. You know, you do the math on that. All right.
Do we have some rosters here? We know what we're dealing with.
They did. They showed some of the women on the right side,
Okay.
and you know, and also in that highlight tape before we got to this flyer here. Okay, and also if you're a woman that's interested here, you can go check it out, and I'm sure maybe some agents out there. You know, you can find a way to get you some money. Again, I keep telling these people, my cousins, sisters, friends. I hope you're watching this. This is another way you can make easy money. Okay, go out there and show your skills. Okay,
There you go.
make a layup.
What are they?
Get in the
like,
gym.
Wait, they're having like tryouts? They don't have, like,
No,
a
I'm
set
just
roster?
saying this is a real game.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
saying for women who may not have been aware of this league and may be interested, I'm sure they can go out there.
And see what's going on. Size yourself up against the competition.
Yeah, ask some questions. Hey, how can I try out? What's going on? Where's the team? How much are you paying?
Where's the team?
Yeah.
When is this game going down?
The date is on there. I know it's it's Classic Weekend, and they have the time and date on there. My eyes are just not as good as they used to be.
All right.
All right, but it's on there.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah, man, the NBA, man. Coming to the Smith Center. I love it.
You had me fooled. Too.
Support it. Okay?
Support it so it comes back.
Oh,
It might supplant the car show.
yeah. It
as,
should.
as a must-see
Maybe.
event.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it should.
I could give a crap about cars. I mean,
I love the paint jobs. Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking for the thing now. I can't find it. All right. They'll see it on there. How come I can't find it? I don't know. All right, let's go to LeBron has some interesting comments, man. And yeah, Kobe's saying the Sixers are trying to pull away from the Celtics. And
is
yeah,
it
somebody's
working?
getting destroyed by the Rockets. What he said. But let me check on that because that's before we get into LeBron. Hey, LeBron, you can wait. This is a huge game for my Sixers here, man.
Sixers Celtics.
Yeah. And the Lakers are playing. They're getting beat pretty bad by Houston, but AD is out.
Somebody said for a couple weeks.
Yeah, AD is out, man.
Imagine that. Guy's an Iron Man.
Yeah, Philly is up 10 with 4 minutes to go.
That's got to be a win.
Jason Tatum with a bad game. Well, shooting wise, he's shooting 5 for 13, but he has 15 rebounds. At least he's doing something. Oh, Jaylen Brown is having a god awful game. That's why we're winning. Okay. And
The two Celtic stars are shooting well below 50%.
yeah, Embiid and Maxey are playing well. All right. So LeBron James, he had some comments and started on Twitter or X, whatever you want to say, and basically what I don't know if he was responding to a comment or just making a general statement, but basically saying about the Heat to where he would have been the same player with or without the Heat. Basically, and then somebody responded, and he responded back, said, because I'm the chosen one. And I thought that was interesting, that response there. But, and a lot of chatter has been about this, about saying about, where he would have been without Miami and things like that. I'm a huge LeBron fan. I tend to agree with him.
You do.
Yeah, I tend to agree with him.
Wow.
Miami. There's a couple. It's multi-layered, right? So Miami, of course, he won the 2 championships in Miami, right?
Yes.
The thing about it is, would his championships be less or not? We really, honestly don't know, because if he leaves Cleveland, you can say, okay, what if he fucking goes to San Antonio? Maybe he has 7, 8 rings by now. It depends on where he goes, is number one, because what we do know is that stretch of time was his pure prime, and that pure prime was a fucking awesome player. That's the best version of LeBron James during that stretch in Miami. And I think it had more to do with where he was at in his career versus the team culture or what have you that he was on.
I think it was the right move at the right time, and I don't think you can discount that. And yes, there could have been another scenario where he went to a ready-made team and won championships, multiple championships, what have you. But when we're saying that, like, what are we saying? Are we saying that he would have stayed in Cleveland and just tried to win there? That shit may never have happened, to be honest with you. Or are we saying he
wasn't
goes
going
to
to happen, but yeah.
Yeah, or are we saying he goes to San Antonio and plays alongside Tim Duncan and young Kawhi Leonard and whatever? Like, what exactly are you saying? What we do know is that when he went to Miami, he had to change. He had to go inside himself. He was tested. He became a villain and had to deal with that pressure. He had to get to the Heat where you had Pat Riley and a structure, and he had to concede to some degree to the structure. And I do think that pushed him to a different place. It made him tougher. It made him more resilient. And I'm not just saying like the discipline of the Heat, just that whole process of being a villain and just being hated by his hometown people. It made him grow up. It made him who he became. And I think that that's something that can't be lost. And we can always play the what if game. But the what-if game is completely speculative. We do know that Heat represented his on-court peak. It represented his introduction to being a champion on the basketball court. And it introduced him to like a certain level of adversity that he had not faced, that he came through the outside of.
Yeah, but that had more so to do with where he was at in his career versus being with the Heat. What you're saying, because he was going to face that level of adversity wherever he was at, because he was the best player in the league who hadn't won a championship yet. So no matter where he went, that level of adversity, that level of that was going to be there on any team. And what I'm saying is, if he just goes to any other good team, good organization, he was going to win. That I have no doubt in my mind. Now, because he was leaving Cleveland, and rightfully so, because Cleveland front office could not pair him or get any other all-star level player on that roster that was good enough to compete with any other good teams in the league, right? So he was going to leave, and if you're going to leave for a better team, right? And so, and when you're at that level, you're the best player in the league at your utmost top level prime, I think you're going to be okay. I don't know. I'm not for all of this Heat fucking culture thing. You seen this thing? They got this their city edition of jerseys have Heat culture instead of the team. They put this whole fucking paragraph on the court under the rim. It's a whole literal paragraph.
I haven't seen that yet.
About Heat culture. We're more in shape than everybody. I'm paraphrasing that, but that's what it's saying basically. We're more in shape than everybody. We work harder than everybody. We do this more than everybody. It's literally a paragraph on the court under the rim. You're doing too much. It's not that the Heat are not. It's a good. You are a good organization, but you failed. Last few years. You haven't, without LeBron James and fucking Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, I mean, what have you really done? You made a couple surprising runs here and there. But really you haven't put together a championship roster, a championship team. Some guys do not want to go there because they do feel like you work those guys too hard. Okay. And I don't know. I'm not a Heat culture guy. I think it's overrated, overstated. It's not like you're the New England Patriots and have this pedigree of fucking, being a dynasty and they have a culture.
Yeah, that's interesting though too.
What?
Because you have Tom Brady. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's becoming increasingly prevalent, the notion that the Patriots' way was simply Tom Brady.
Well, but that's something completely separate because you're not tying a player to the Heat.
Well, but
culture.
that's why I think the comparison is a bad fit.
No, what I'm saying is you don't have the championships to back your way. At least with Tom Brady always embraced Patriot culture, Patriot way, saying he loves. It's a reason why they do things this way and XYZ. With the Heat, there is no success to pair to Heat culture. You know what I mean? There's no level of success to pair to it. All you pair to it is we're more in shape than everybody. We work harder than everybody. But that hasn't resulted in anything.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 titles.
Yeah.
You have the early Wade Shaq title, and then the 2 LeBron titles. So, is it measured by championships? It is not a real or tangible thing.
Well, and they haven't even had any outstanding regular season success. Like I'm down for it if you have some level of success, but these guys are bad in the regular season. They've made a couple, good playoff runs, but hasn't, capped those off. So you don't have anything. You don't have regular season success. You don't have any championships. Give me something. I've been the best regular season team because if you're the most in shape team, you work hard. Regular season is supposed to be your thing. Like teams that have good teams who work hard and most in shape and things like that and go hard in the regular season, those guys have success. They win 40, 50 games every single year.
Should be rewarded with that.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
But it hasn't been the case with the Heat. I don't know. I don't think LeBron was off base here. And but like you said, in the grand scheme of things, it is a silly argument.
Of course it is.
And, in a slick way, underlining, I think he is trying to not validate, but sort of give himself.
He's taking the credit for his accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's what
he doesn't want somebody else to get, he doesn't want the Heat to get credit for that.
Exactly. He's usurping his own accomplishments by diminishing the role of the Heat.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I'm not like, I think there are elements of the Heat culture that exist, and I think it's important to them, which makes it kind of important overall. But what LeBron's doing is here, and it's kind of honestly, it's a shitty move. To be like, essentially, this is me. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter. There's a point where, like, nobody achieves success without others. There's a reality to that.
There is, but every great historical player, they do this. So I don't think it's a shitty move. I think it's just something that is done throughout the history.
Do what exactly?
Jordan slighted Pippen. Now, if you ask a regular fan, like not a regular fan, but somebody like me, I think without Pippen, I don't think Jordan is 6-0 in the championship. But Jordan doesn't feel that way. He's told you he doesn't feel that way.
He said both things.
But
Scotty said both things.
But he said it. I mean,
but my question was, so every great player at some point just basically claims credit for all the success. That's the premise what you're saying. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if it's something that has to be done, but they do it. It's an egotistical thing, but I think it's a part of. Maybe that's what makes these guys so great. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I haven't been that great. But yeah, they want the fucking credit. If we blow up, I'm not gonna take all the credit for on the bench. But these guys, these guys feel compelled to do so. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it is weird. No. And I think that I think when I hear this, it's not how I am. And that's why I don't like it. Feels uncomfortable to me.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't be that. And I also look at it like, your year 2021 or whatever. It's probably time to be a little have a little perspective on your career and the things that you've done.
Yeah,
and kind of do that. But maybe again, what may be happening too is like on some level he kind of knows that that's where he's supposed to start to go. But he's resisting it because he probably feels that if I start to go there, I lose the present moment edge.
Yeah.
And I almost have to overcompensate with the edge that I did this. This is who I am. This is inevitability. I'm the chosen one. To really almost bolster his present day confidence.
Yeah.
I think there's a strong element of that psychologically.
It could be. It could be.
Because you have to, I mean, he knows he's not Heat LeBron anymore.
Oh,
he knows that better than anybody.
Yeah.
But he knows that he still carries that load.
Yeah.
And that the expectation is there. And so that may be like a self-psyche move to match that that expectation. And again, that is common for a lot of the great players is to find a perceived slight, invent a slight if needed to keep yourself on that competitive edge to achieve as much as you can.
No, that's for sure.
So if that's the place that it's coming from, I get it, and I appreciate it for what it is.
Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast of Bubba Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We are available on all, and I do mean all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. Where are you at? Royal 13. Royal13thebrand.com. If you use promo code Bubba Pink, you'll be fresh in this fall season that we are in. Look, it was a little warm today, right? Thankfully. But the fall season is here. Winter is coming. Get your hoodies, get your shirts at a discounted price if you use promo code Bubba Pink.
Do you have any Royal 13 clothing prep for this week?
This week?
For the festivities of the Classic?
No. But Classic is next week.
Next week? Oh, it's okay.
It depends on how warm we are. I might bring out the short shorts.
I think it's a strong move for you to do that.
You know what I mean? Show some legs. Show some.
Well, here's the other one. Will you wear some Bethune gear?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,000%. Gotta let people know what I'm repping.
All right.
Even in a loss.
You wear it like prior to the game, and then you have like some backup clothes to go to. I just have like a random hoodie unconnected to the school to throw on as the game goes south.
Exactly. I wanted to move here. What's interesting is, and they do this once a year, ESPN, to do the top 25 under 25 years old. The first thing I always take away is like, damn, I didn't know this guy was still this young. When you see a name.
Thought he was much older.
You know what I mean? Like, they have Tyler Hero here at number 19. Like, I thought he's a little older than that.
Yeah.
Right? But he might be right at 25. Who fucking knows? And it's just some interesting names on here, and some people I think are out of place, right? So, not to go through all 25, but for example, okay, number one, they have Luka. I'm a huge Luka guy.
Right.
He's 24 years old. And I think that's perfect where they got him at. Okay. And what's also interesting, before I finish some of the interesting names, is how they place the rookies, right?
Okay.
I thought it was interesting how they place the rookies. Like, they have Wemby at 13.
Okay.
I think I guess what they're saying is right now. They're not projecting. They're not saying where you're going to be, and not who you want. Because I think Wemby would be number one if you had to draft the day of everybody top 25 under 25, who would you draft, right? But so I guess it's like right now where they're at, but he's number 13. And let me, for example, Franz Wagner is number 11, Orlando Magic.
Oh God.
I think even right now I'll still take Wemby over Wagner.
I'm not a Wagner guy.
You're just not a Wagner guy?
No,
he's doing well now.
He does well statistically.
Statistically,
he's not like a killer, man.
He's averaging what? They have him at he's averaging basically 19 and 3.
19 and 3.
Yeah.
3 rebounds?
No, 3 assists. They don't have the rebounds listed.
Okay.
4. He's averaging 4 rebounds.
Oh my God.
He's averaging 4 rebounds.
He's fucking 6'9". Goddamn pansy.
A guy I'm not a fan of, but I guess Cade Cunningham. They have him at number 10. Detroit Pistons. Really, they've done a terrible job, Detroit. They have Cade really is he's not a strong shooter himself. He's having a decent shooting season this year, but then you litter him. He's a playmaker, and you litter him around guys who are awful shooters. Those brothers. They're awful shooters, but you have to play them because you drafted them high and they can play. Yeah,
right.
But they're just not a good fit to play alongside Cade. But what have you? Another overrated guy, Mobley. Not a Mobley guy. They got him at number 9.
You've been crapping on him since 2021.
Yeah, I wanted to be first on the train, and for the first time in my life.
Exactly.
And he's proven me to be pretty right so far. Where is your guy? Let's see where Anthony is at. Anthony is at number 3 on this list.
Who's 2?
Ja Morant.
Hell no. Ant's got to be over him.
You want Ant over Ja?
I don't want. I mean, it's facts. We're going back to friends with benefits.
That's interesting. I can
Ja
see both
Morant,
sides of that.
no, I can't. There's no other side. Ja Morant is damaged goods. That's what he is. He will never be the focal point of a championship team. I said this last year when this stuff first came about. He's done as a championship player.
You think so? As the best player on the championship team?
Correct. He's done. He doesn't have the maturity, mental makeup to do that.
Maturity can come, right?
No,
with age?
No, it doesn't. You don't go from where he was to being mature.
That's a strong take, man.
No, like you got to realize, like, and this is like guys that lead franchises they're better than current crop of presidential candidates. You are a face of the franchise. You are there when it's good. You're the guy. When it's bad, you're the guy. Like LeBron has endured that for 20 years with almost like no slip-ups. And that's a difficult task. I mean, Luka whines a little bit, but there's no question, like, the most important thing in his life is basketball.
Yeah.
Like, Ja Morant has shown us that it's not. Being a wannabe gangster is, like, ahead of basketball.
Yeah.
And he's never going to be looked at the same again in this league. So get him the hell below 2. Now, Ant he's on the ascendancy.
Yeah, he is.
He's doing nothing wrong.
No.
And like, why would you not reward that? I mean, if you put another name, I don't know, like who's 4, who's 5, whatever.
Right.
We'll talk names. But I mean, Ja Morant ain't in front of Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
That's not even a contest. That's ridiculous, man.
A guy who
We should have just done this in order.
I know, right?
Yeah.
A guy I'm liking a lot, more and more every time I see him play, Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana Pacers point guard. He's just fucking awesome, man. He just knows how to play basketball. He's like, if you're talking pure point guards, he's already a top 3, top 5 point guard in the league, just pure point guard play. Like, you know, he's averaging about 16 and 9 right now, roughly, with almost 2 steals a game. Last game he played, he had a 46-point game, 46 and 15. I love him, man.
And I like him a lot too. He is another guy. He's like a stand-up guy, a consistent performer. He embraces the challenges. He was one of the steadier guys in the Team USA over the last summer. I'm all for him. I think he's very good, very good. What about Fox?
Fox. I don't know. He's not high on this list. Maybe he's a little over 25.
It better be that.
Yeah, it better be that. I don't see him. I'm at 18 now, and I don't see him.
That's crazy. Because if he's over 25, it is what it is. But if he's under 25 and he's not higher, like top 5, 6 guys, that's
okay. Yeah, he's not on here. Another guy, Zion is number 5, right? The thing about Zion is he doesn't look the same. I've seen about 3-4 games this year, and he's okay. But the difference is, like, he's getting blocked at the rim a lot, quite often. The last game I watched, they were playing Atlanta, and Capella got him like twice.
Okay.
Once is lucky, twice is like, this is not the same Zion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Does he look heavy?
He doesn't look heavy. It's just it's sad because his athleticism is just not the same. And to be like under 25, like this list is telling me,
right?
And your athleticism is already on the downswing.
But that was the fear of this guy from the jump.
Yeah.
That was the fear of this guy coming out of high school. How many electric years are you going to have? And the fact is, we haven't had one full year.
Yeah.
We've had flashes over a couple of seasons. Nothing's been consistent. And he's probably going to be in that thing where he'll probably have to adapt his game to reduce athleticism, and then we'll see what that looks like. So I'd probably be reluctant to put him at 5. We just run down this damn list. It's way easier this way.
Jaren Jackson at 6.
Bum.
Don't like it.
Bum.
Darius Garland at 7. Solid.
player, but not a transformational player.
Yeah, solid, but I need more. LaMelo at 8.
He's got to get in a winning situation.
He's got to get away from Charlotte for me to be able to really, truly.
To measure what he is.
Yeah. We already talked about Mobley at 9. I don't like him. Cade at 10. I need to see him with a better thing. Franz Wagner at 11. You don't like
Not
it.
a big fan of that.
Matter of fact, this is surprising. They have Wagner over Paolo. Paolo is 12.
That is interesting.
That's really interesting.
But then there's the other school of thought. Like those guys are like rumored to be like top 50 or whatever in the league.
Yeah.
And like the Magic still aren't very good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's the crazy idea. You got all these. You got these two guys that everybody's excited to see and think are really good, but you're not winning games at a high level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the challenge is on them, but I don't. The more I look at Paul, I don't like his game.
Mm.
I think he's just going to be a guy that consistently puts up points in the league, which has a value, but I don't think he plays hard enough. I don't think he has the defensive capabilities, and his offense is good, but it's not crazy elite where he's ever going to be a superstar for me.
Yeah.
He'll always be like just a solid stat machine.
And we already talked about Wemby at 13.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey at 14. I think he just has to be high. They have to make his way higher on the list, man.
Yeah.
I don't know who you have to move. Oh, well, I'd put him over Wagner.
I'd put him over the two Magic guys. I'd put him over
Cade.
I'd put him over all the dudes that aren't winning.
When we get to
'Cause
Mobley and Garland, we're talking. Like, that's the...
And I put him in front of those guys. Because, like, what you've seen from Maxey is, like, steady jumps.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like,
I'm talking about
year.
good jumps.
Yeah.
Like significant jumps.
I didn't say steady progress. I said steady jumps.
Yeah.
Because they are jumps.
Yeah.
Like, he just keeps bringing it and keeps climbing the ladder. And, again, when you hear him talk, like, he's rooted in the right stuff, man. He's a top-level guy. I like him a lot.
These next two guys are guys I like and probably should be high on the list, too. Josh Giddey. 15, OKC. Josh is a guy, he's solid, he's all-around type of guy. He's a playmaker, he can score, he can play defense.
I don't think he'll ever be a star, but I think he'll always be a high-value
Role
starter.
player.
But role-playing starter.
There you go.
He'll be one of those guys you want on a winning team because he kind of does a lot of different stuff. And, again, he's another guy that plays with joy.
Yeah.
And that's underrated.
Yeah.
It's underrated guys who just kind of love basketball.
Scotty Barnes. What's the other guy?
He's made a leap.
Yeah.
I'd put him higher.
Yeah.
He's kind of a monster.
I told you, I like Scotty now.
Yeah. Well, last year he was a little flat.
Yeah. In that sophomore year. This is his third year here.
And now we've gotten another leap. And again, he's a dude, like, I mean, he seems every bit of 6'9" or 6'10". And, he's not like an elite ball handler, but he handles it comfortably. He can, he's not like a dead-eye shooter or any of that, but he just does so many things on the floor. And for the most part, like, he really seems to compete.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. That's a good call. He should be higher.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it right there. Sixers beat the Celtics. I don't like the end of the score. I don't know what happened there, but we only won by 3. Got to find out what happened there. But Celtics were favorite. We covered. So, fuck you, Celtics. Huh?
Did you have a bet in there tonight?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I told you, I haven't bet in a little while.
I thought it might have got out there being a dog to the Celtics.
No, but that is a type of game. We were at home. I would have bet that game, and I would have bet Philly. Sometimes you can just tell when it's a Philly spot. It would have to be home, and like next game, you would go Boston. But that first big game, like against the Bucks, that was the game we were supposed to win, right? That was a Sixer spot. We just ended up losing. That's the fucking terrible thing about betting.
You're talking about the opening game?
Yeah, the opening game.
Yeah.
It's a Sixer spot. First time we're playing that team, which is a really good team. It just, and we had that game in the bag. Whatever. Looking around the association really quick before we get to the rest of the show, you have we didn't have any games yesterday, so it's like a full slate today.
What was that about?
NBA, they usually do that, so it was the opener of college basketball and another sport. So they kind of just like, hey,
give them a day?
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was like, trying to find a game to watch.
Yeah.
And most of the college games were crap. Like almost all the top 25 teams played like opponents that they just manhandled.
It's sort of like a college football thing, right?
Yeah. Michigan State got bit on the butt though. They dropped a early game and they were like ranked 4th and lost to somebody. But
so this is Wemby's first game in the Garden.
yeah,
The Knicks are like destroying them.
are they?
It's really a R.J. Barrett and Brunson game. Randall has been awful this year. He's averaging 15 and 10, but that goes to show you he's shooting 29% from the field, 25% from 3. And he's jacking them up, man. I mean, he's averaging like 7-8 threes a game, and he's just not making any.
He's an interesting guy. He's not without talent, but he got shuffled around early in his career, and then he had that one really good season with the Knicks. But he kind of floundered in the playoff of that season.
I wouldn't want him on my team.
No, I wouldn't.
And I've always been on that train. Like you said, he's a talented guy, but he's a guy where because of his talent, you have to give him the ball a lot. But he's going to be inefficient, and it's hard to fit a team around that.
Well, yeah, and that's where I was going with it. Like he had like that really nice year in New York, but in the playoffs he was exposed a little bit, and again you get to that point where he's kind of a high energy guy, and the ball ends with him a lot.
Ball ends with him a lot.
And you know
How do you think about this? Unathletic Zion. Less athletic Zion.
That's not a bad comparison at all. I don't take big issue with that. But what you see though, to me, is like when you see the regression over the last 2 years, this is mental weakness. Like he didn't grow and capitalize. And again, you had a really good regular season. You got exposed a little bit in the playoffs. What would we expect from a player in that situation?
Some type of growth, some type of
eye-opening.
Yeah.
I've got to get better. I was good to a certain level. What do I need to do to unlock the next level? And he hasn't come close to that. He's gone the other way.
Yeah,
it's like he got close to being good and like ran from it. And so I wouldn't, I agree with you on the personnel fit, like playing with others, but there's also just something inherent about him that's just not getting it done and not growing and meeting the challenge of being great or really coming close to being great.
Yeah, Kobe says bus drivers are rare, which that's definitely true.
What bus drivers are rare?
Like
stars or
superstar, like the main player on the main team that's going to win a championship.
Sure.
It's just not a ton of those guys.
No.
Wemby is having a tough go tonight, and that's going to happen. It's going to be games like that. It's really tough tonight though. It's shooting 2 for 10, 7 boards, 9 points. And then you have the Nets are interesting. They're churning out some wins here. And low and below, Ben has been hurt the last 2 games, and they've been winning. And they're beating the Clippers right now. That's why I wanted to see this game. Right, the Clippers are down 10 in the fourth quarter. They lost their opener with James Harden.
Yeah.
Their first game with James. This is the second game, and actually. James is 12, 7, and 5.
Basically playing the facilitator role that Philly wanted him to play.
What's interesting is I looked at it. Paul George had a rough game the last game, but really these guys are having like average games. Average to good games. And I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch a full game, but defense has to be an issue, and I guess chemistry. I'll watch the next game to really see.
Like if you think about it, like, dude, those guys give a shit. Like, I mean, seriously, I don't think Harden does. He's pretty much told us he doesn't. I think Russ cares and kind of does what he can. But Kawhi's kind of a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
And then you got Paul George out there waiting to get hurt. I don't think when teams are winning, like they want it bad.
Yeah.
Like, they're competitive night in and night out. Like they don't, losses offend them.
Yeah.
And they respond to loss. I mean, it's all the Jordan stuff. It's like, went 3 years without losing 3 games in a row and stuff like that. Like those are the hallmarks of greatness. And these guys just aren't great. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is.
No, for sure. Minnesota's putting a hurting on the Pelicans, man.
Keep the pain coming.
Ant and Towns playing well for them.
Yeah.
And Zion looks to be Zion is out. I don't see Zion on here. So that's part of the reason. Yeah, I don't. They don't even have him listed on here. They have him listed, but they don't have like a status of why he missed the game. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. All right. On to the rest of the show. Let's see here. Let's go to what else did I have? Oh, let's go to this. You know, usually I like to do my top five things I'm watching. Again, you know, I'm the type of person I watch every single type of show. Okay. And
I could say it's rare that I'm even familiar with one of the shows that you're watching.
Well, the last time I did it, because I had like 3 sci-fi shows on there. You're not a sci-fi guy.
Not even close.
Today I don't have any sci-fi shows in there.
Yes.
So just to show my range, I have range. I watch everything, man. Anything, it has to be good. Not everything. It has to be good. I like storylines. I like good acting. I like good writing. Okay. So let's go here, man. Yeah, top 5 right now. Now, with number 5, again, because sometimes I put this list out and then people are DMing me like, how was that number 5 or how was the number 2? The point is, it's on the list. These are the things. These are good shows to watch. These are good things to watch. It's out of a billion shows. I picked these 5 things to watch. Right? I put AOT Attack on Titan. It's it's anime. Shout out to all my anime lovers out there. I put this at number 5. You anime lovers will go crazy. It should be number 1 or whatever. But I have it at number 5. It's coming to an end soon.
Good.
You know, come on, man. It's basically the number 1 anime show out right now. It's a monster. It's a really great storyline. Everything about it is awesome. If you're into that sort of thing, if you're into it, you heard of it, right? But so that's another reason why I have it at number 5.
Do you enjoy anime porn as well?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not into anime porn, but it's huge.
Unfortunately or fortunately?
I don't know. It depends, right?
I don't think it depends. You're either normal or bizarre.
Zion out for his daughter's birth. Thank you.
Hey, with the hooker or whatever it was?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
All right, Attack on Titan, number 5. Okay. At number 4, I went with Gen V, okay? Now, what Gen V is, I don't know if you guys, it's sort of a superhero show. The Boys is the original show, and then Gen V is a spinoff, okay? So the spinoff is about the young teenagers who have these powers, and they're trying to find out about themselves, how to use them. They are at this superpower school, superhero school, if you will. And what I love about it, they still tie the main superhero characters in, like Homelander in from the original show and things like that. And you could tell they, getting ready for the Boys to come back for their new season. Okay. But Gen V is it's a good show. I love the storyline. I love how they did it this season, their first season. So yeah, it's a really dope show. Gen V. I've been watching that. I'm up to it. All right. At number 3, okay. Number 3, I went with Found. Found is a really good show. Actually, Pink, you told me about the show. As soon as you told me about it, I went to go watch it. Right?
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with this one.
Yeah.
I've watched every episode so far.
Me too. I'm up to date on it. And basically, this woman here that you see in the picture, she was abducted when she was younger as a child, and she kind of fought her way, made her way out of that situation, and now. She helps families find their abducted whatever kids or loved ones, right? It really is kids of color, because she feels like the news are not are much interested in finding those people, right. And also she has, on top of all of that, which is a great deed she's doing, she found her abductor and has him locked away in the basement,
imprisoned at her house.
Right. So
she kind of like uses him to help her solve the some of the crimes, because he's obviously has some expertise in these matters.
Yeah, like a damn.
Yeah, it's a fascinating turn, and she has like a company with like a team of people who have all had the similar experiences of being abducted or gone missing or whatever. So it is pretty good. And it's got that what is it? He was back in like wasn't he in like what was that show that was the kids show that the guy that the original kidnapper, like he was in one of those shows back in the day.
Oh, I haven't recognized that yet. I haven't put
He
two
was
and two
in like
together.
what was the one with Screech?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was Screech. He's Screech.
No, he's not
Oh,
Screech.
oh, okay.
He was like the cool kid in that show.
Oh, okay. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but like
that was like a '90s show. Yeah.
yeah,
something like
but
that.
he's
Like
like
that.
he's really good at it.
Yeah.
I like his character.
No.
a
He's
lot.
good. He's good.
My biggest critique, and I mean I like the show enough that I've watched every episode. I think the lead actress is a little weak in terms of just the acting ability. Like obviously she's got a lot going on. She's basically concealing her captor and utilizing him, and she's got a lot of unresolved personal issues, and then she's doing this work that's fantastic, but like she does not for me capture like the depth of conflict that you have in those things. I don't think her acting naturally does that, and I think she kind of like almost like switches too dramatically. That not really overacting, but her range is so narrow that she's just got to be, hey, I'm going to be upset. Hey, I'm going to be this. And she can't convey, great actors convey like the ambiguity of life.
Yeah.
In their expressions, that's what makes an exceptional actor. Somebody that can convey like kind of complex emotions.
She leaves some to be desired, but the storyline is strong enough to carry what she lacks there, and she's still decent, But I understand. I definitely understand what you're saying there. But I have that show at number 3 there. At number 2, I actually have Force. Force is a spinoff from Power, 50 Cent show, that he helped executive produce. Now, Force is interesting because the first season was pretty. It was bad, right? It was bad, and it was probably the worst out of the spinoffs. And a lot of people were mumbling about it. Maybe it was talked about being canceled, things like that. But this second season, they really come with it. It seems like they addressed all of the criticisms, and they just fucking went hard on all of the criticisms as far as action, as far as a better storyline, as far as better acting, and they just really put it together. And this is an awesome, great season here that we're into here, and Force has been really good, man.
Were there any did they change like the writers or something or any of those?
That's
elements?
interesting. I don't know. I do not know. I know
That'd be
that
worth looking into.
I know it was that weird writer strike that happened.
Yeah.
And that kind of affected all of these shows. And shout out to my writers. You guys are the backbone of this industry. You deserve more money, deserve whatever you want. Okay. And so but whatever they did there to fix things, they fixed it. And this is a really good season here. All right. At number 1, I have For Life. Now, For Life is a slightly older show, meaning I'm just now jumping on this train. I'm just now catching up to it. And I'm actually finishing up season 1 now.
Is this the guy that is a prisoner and gets his law degree?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's loosely based on a true story. So this guy, and really, I love any show where the black guy is like overtaking a corrupt white system. In any way, shape, or form, Django.
Hallelujah.
In any way, shape, or form, you got me at that anyway. But here, so this guy, he's wrongfully accused of a crime, goes into prison, does almost 10 years. And this whole time, during his time in prison, he's fighting, trying to get his way out. He becomes a lawyer. And starts working on other inmates' cases and getting them out. And 50 Cent is actually in this show. He helps executive produce, but he's also acting in this show.
Like as a regular character, consistently? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pretty consistently throughout the season I'm watching. I'm not sure if it's gonna whatever, but but he's doing good. He's a good actor. I mean, he was in Power too, and he's in that believable character. That's another thing. He's just he plays the bad guy in these roles, but you can kind of believe it.
I vote rappers make good actors.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's something about selling the craft of rapping, but there's a lot of rappers that have been successful actors, and there's a certain authenticity that comes into it, and maybe they're leveraging their actual rap career and bringing that sort of gravitas to the roles they play. But I mean, there's a number of dudes that really, can act and do a great job with that. Up and down the line, and 50 Cent's one of those guys. I mean, I remember seeing him in like a really like low budget movie, like he was playing like a football player that got super sick.
Yeah.
And like, I thought he was good in that.
Yeah.
But it was a super low budget film. I mean, we probably spend more doing the show today than they spent on the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I was like, yeah, he was good.
And for him to go all out, he that wasn't camera tricks. He had to lose all of that weight.
Yeah.
He literally lost all that weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so right now that's the number one show that I'm watching right now for life. If you haven't heard of it, it's definitely worth the watch. Worth the watch there. Top 5 shows that I'm watching: Attack on Titan 5, Gen V 4. Went with Found at 3, Force at 2, For Life at number 1. All right. You're still on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. All righty. Let's go with here Deion, right? Yes. So Deion had a couple of interviews this week, and typically he usually tiptoes around that NFL thing, but he every interview I watched this week, he head on fully addressed it. This is partly a comment. He starts out talking about being a father, and then he ends with the NFL talk.
I'm a great dad. So as a dad, I'm a great dad. Let's stop right there. As a dad, I am balling. As a dad, I'm a Hall of Famer. As a dad, I'm an All-American. As a dad, I'm a Pro Bowler. As a dad, I'm a flat-out winner. As a dad, exclamation mark. I'm him. I'm a great dad. So as a dad, I'm a great dad. Let's stop right there. As a dad, I am balling. As a dad, I'm a Hall of Famer. As a dad, I'm an All-American. As a dad, I'm a Pro Bowler. As a dad, I'm a flat-out winner. As a dad, exclamation mark. I'm him.
As a dad who knows the NFL people that you know, would there be a grade or an evaluation on Shedeur that would make both of you or one of you go, maybe we should look at the next level. Maybe we should look
Why would we? And we're having a great time here. When we appreciate and we love what we are, it's hard to look at someone else.
Right. So, and that's basically what he was saying in all the other interviews too, is that, Shedeur is going to stay for another year, which we already assumed. But it was the fact that he addressed like, hey, pretty much no matter what evaluation they're going to give Shedeur this year, he's going to come back and stay with Pops, and we're going to, try to right this ship and try to have and bang out a successful season next year.
Well, I think he'd said that at the beginning of the year. He said they're staying. Like, he basically said it, because I remember thinking at the time they're gonna move on Travis's timeline, and Travis can't leave for another year. So he said this to me is nothing new or changing what he's saying at all. He's been consistent with that, but he also kind of like coyly avoided answering the question, because the question was really about his draft stock.
Yeah,
and he kind of just cut that off and took it a different direction. Just said, we're staying, we're having a good time. He did not address Shedeur's like NFL draft grade, essentially. Kind of just pivoted and cut that off before it got started.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is on message for him, not surprising at all. And I noted in the last show, like, how after that UCLA game, like, he kind of posted a thing about his 2 kids and how proud he was of them. And again, if you look at this, to me, it further confirms he's not going to be a long time for Colorado. But, in the midst of on-field failure, he's kind of wrapping himself in the dad role.
Yeah.
And it's hard to criticize a person in that role. And his kids are playing hard, playing well under the circumstances. And so they're doing their job, and he has every right to be proud of the way they're doing that. But I also think that this is a little typical kind of, shift of attention. Wrap yourself in being a great dad to 2 boys that are fantastic. No issues with those guys at all. But it's also kind of, in talking about that, we're not talking about shitty offensive line play. We're not talking about losing 5 of the last 6 games. We're not talking about, maybe not making a bowl game, or, how the hell do you get through the rest of the season when you have to release the ball in under 2 seconds every play.
Right.
So it is what it is, and he's a master at it. He's a master at controlling narratives and talking points. And that's what we saw in that interview.
You know, it's going to be really interesting because, you know, the NCAA, you know, they're always late to the times, right? And now they're allowing juniors to play in these All-Star games and things like that.
Right.
It'd be interesting. Is he a junior on the field or a redshirt sophomore? He's a junior on the field.
He's a junior because he's played. He hasn't sat.
He's never sat.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if he's invited to any of these All-Star games and things like that.
You would have to declare.
You have to declare first.
The caveat is this: like typically you've had the Senior Bowl, the various All-American Bowl, whatever these things that are college All-Star games that. I think it's the Senior Bowl. They actually are coached by NFL staffs at that game. And so it's a really important thing. I mean, probably in reality more important than the NFL Combine. If you go to that Senior Bowl and now it's open to juniors that have declared for the draft, you're performing and practicing under the coaching of NFL guys. You're also going kind of toe-to-toe with people, you know, and it's going to show. The alphas are going to rise, and you're going to, you know, put in a week of practice and play a game. And it's like every year people come out of that game with increased stock because they showed up with the rest of the wideouts or DBs or O linemen, and they showed out. And so they deserve that. And so I think that it's a good decision because, again, if these guys are going to be in the same draft, you might as well let them compete against each other and show who rises to the top.
Right.
So a slow decision by the NFL or NCAA, I guess, but a correct one. Get everybody that you can in this game, and you'll let them compete. It'll raise the quality of the game and the practices, but there'll also be probably some seniors that kind of lose that opportunity because, you know, some of these draft-eligible juniors are going to take those roster spots and have that opportunity to shine.
No, that's for sure. No, and I guess I didn't know about that piece there, but it makes total sense. And so when that you know, he's not going to declare, so he won't be eligible for the All-Star games. But the other side of that point was he's not going to get properly evaluated by NFL scouts or anything anyway, because you're not going to go to the combine, you're not going to go to these All-Star games.
Yeah.
So part of that question is, you know, basically he was asking, depending on Shadeur's stock, would you guys contemplate going to the NFL? Well, how can he really get a proper evaluation if he's not going to go to any one of those two things? It's just,
well, I think the guy took the question in the right way, in the sense that he asked, he's like, Deion, you know a lot of guys in the league. Like, you can pick up a phone and talk to probably any GM in the league and be like, hey, where do you guys have Shadeur rated? I mean, make no mistake about it. Like, the NFLs have draft boards right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their scouting department is rating guys. The guys have first round grades, second round grades right now. And that it's fluid because you can go to a Senior Bowl, show out. You can go to the combine and show out, and that moves. And that, you know, that's the reality. But I mean, there's been first-round talk about Shadeur since the first couple weeks of the season. Now, when you look at that as a process, when you go to, like, your Senior Bowl, when you have your pro day, when you go to the combine, do you mess that grade up by maybe not throwing as crisply as people would like, or by maybe having an attitude that concerns people? Or are you just outperformed by another person who, you know, maybe they're a second-round guy, but they get out in the combine, the ball flies out of his hand like he's, you know, the second coming of Pat Mahomes, and it gets different. But that's the evaluation process. But Deion, again, with his contacts, and I mean, it's not exclusive. I mean, you're telling me Nick Saban can't talk to every GM in the country or NFL, you know, and get some information on his guys. But that's where he was going with it. You know, I mean, the question was basically, like, you talk to people in the NFL, you have access to them. If they're telling you that Shadeur's top 7, like, does that change the plan to stay? That's what the question is. It's a fair question.
Yeah.
Deion avoided answering. I mean, because, I think there's a reason why. I think he's definitely committed to Colorado for a 2-year project, but he's damn sure not committed to Colorado without Shadeur. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Well, NFL has been going, of course, every week. Really quick here. Let me see what Kobe is talking about here. Let's go, man. Coach told us it was Saved by the Bell. Character's name was Zach.
Yes. That's what I said. Saved by the Bell.
Shout out to Coach, man.
Appreciate you, man. I think it's like Mark Paul Gosler or one of those like 3 names, triple name guy.
Yeah. Somebody else is watching the same shows we're watching. That's good to know.
That guy had a couple hot chicks on Saved by the Bell.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, I put up this thing here, Super Bowl pretenders or contenders here. I wanted to talk about some teams because, of course, we have some pretenders out here that we have known to be, okay? And so just going to bring up a couple of teams here that is going to bring some initial reaction, and we'll see. And now this is teams that can make it to the Super Bowl. Whatever, however you want to say it. Make it, win it.
What are we going to do? You're throw out a name and
Yes.
then I react pretender or contender.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah,
All right.
just throw a name out.
All right, Miami Dolphins.
They are trending toward pretender.
I don't want trending. I need you to be concrete, man. I need you to be concrete.
As of this week, they're pretenders.
And it's just simply because they haven't beaten a
They're
team with a winning record?
They're
or?
not. Yeah, they're not beating good teams. They're losing every matchup to good teams, and that's significant. And again, the Dolphins are a team that haven't been near the deep playoffs in ever. And so it's important to stack those wins and build that confidence in meaningful situations. And with every win or every loss against a good team, it builds that albatross. The albatross gets heavier. And that's where they are right now. So they're pretenders.
Their next 4 games are, however you want to say, the Raiders, Jets, Washington, and Tennessee. Okay. Their last 3 games are against Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice stretch there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're going to get back to seeing 60 points and 50 points.
Yo,
and they're going to rack them up.
Don't sleep on these Raiders.
The Raiders?
Antonio Pierce, in 1 week, changed the whole vibe around that team. Did you see that locker room with the cigars?
Yeah.
And dudes just being happy as hell?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but they did beat a Giants team without Daniel Jones. A guy named DeVito was quarterbacking. The last time I heard of DeVito was the actor in that
Danny
movie.
DeVito was 5'3" or something. He ain't quarterbacking crap. No, but dude, I am.
But I understand.
No, I believe in vibes, man. And I'm not saying they're contentious by any means, but keep an eye on them. And what looked like an easy win
may not be.
Is not.
I still think it's going to be an easy win.
And I like Pierce. I like that whole energy he's got, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have the horses.
He probably doesn't,
but okay. So Dolphins are pretend. One thing I want to say about the Dolphins is, Tua is a good quarterback, but he's in that same batch of Dak Prescott and what's our guy in Minnesota who got hurt?
Kirk
Cousins. These guys need every single thing to be great around them to win a Super Bowl. They need a good defense. They need their receivers to be uber elite. They need great coaching with a great coaching scheme. And because it's just going to come down to moments. And every single time, those guys are going to fold in those moments. Kansas City called the blitz. It's not a coincidence that he saw that blitz, he saw the guys coming, and all of a sudden he just he takes his eye off the ball, lose in a critical moment in the snap, and he fumbles the snap. That's not a coincidence. That is Tua being Tua in a big time moment in a big time game.
I think with Tua, it's more specific. I think he is. If the trains are on time, he's extremely good. But his ability to make anything happen out of rhythm is extremely limited. And that's what, if you make him play out of rhythm, you're going to get him. He's just not good at that. It's a very obvious flaw. And every time he plays badly, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
And it's a little different than, Kirk Cousins is more of a brain fart guy.
Yeah.
He'll play 3 weeks and look fantastic. And then he'll just get in a stink and throw 3 picks in a game and like can't get out of his own way. Like I mean, Jameis was like that too. Like he would, there'd be like elite moments and then like all in the same game. Like, but Tua is very connected to getting the Dolphins out of rhythm. And when you do that, he's seriously below average, but he is well above average. I mean, he's absolutely feast or famine. When things are operating like on schedule, he's elite. But when it's not, he drops so dramatically, it's crazy.
What about these Dallas Cowboys, man?
That I called you at the finish of that game. I was laughing and I was so stirred. That was a quintessential Dak Prescott game.
Everyone's saying that he's played so fucking awesome, though.
But when it
they're
mattered,
missing the point. Yeah,
when it mattered, his decision making was muddled. He didn't. It was all you had bad clock management. You had poor throws, and you couldn't end better than to throw a ball short of the end zone on a TD or bust play and have a guy tackled at the 2. Like that was just such Dak. Dak's like he just literally. I think he freezes up. I think he literally freezes up in big moments. I don't think it's like, hey, as long as the offense is functioning a certain way, I'm good. I think it transcends that. When the stakes get high, he freezes up, and his mind gets cloudy. He just doesn't function right, and he makes bad decisions. He's just not that dude that can that's comfortable in those last minute situations or those big games.
I think so. And I think what we're seeing is their defense is not what it was cracked up to be. Beginning of the season, they were, you had those guys. Parsons was talking crazy. Well, you can't tell me the one cornerback. I know he's a good cornerback, but you can't tell me he's the reason why this defense is taking a turn.
Diggs is big though, because he was a turnover generator.
He was big,
and
but
those are turnovers are game shifting.
But in the NFL, it's a game of injuries. You have to be able to oversee one guy. If that guy is not the quarterback, you have to be able to overcome a loss. One loss. You tell me one loss to a non-quarterback. It just takes you away from being a contender. It takes you away from being a good unit.
I think the Cowboys are poorly coached. I think they're one of the poorest coached teams in the league. I think that staff should be gutted and put out to pasture. They should. They're terrible.
Yeah,
that's not a good set of.
Yeah, it is something with the clock management. It seems like it's something. Remember last year was the thing. Was it the coach or is it Dak with the clock management thing? It was, and that was the question. That can lend on coaching.
I honestly, I don't think the clock management specifically. I put primarily on Dak. You're on the field. You can get guys lined up. You can make those adjustments and get the ball off. That's primarily on you. But just I don't think it's a well-coached team. I don't think it's been a well-coached team since Jimmy Johnson left. They're like a mistake-prone team. Again, you lose a cornerback, but you have some other talent on defense. Like, are they not? There's no change of the scheme. There's no, maximizing what they have. They just don't do a good job.
Do you believe in the Ravens, contenders or pretenders, Baltimore Ravens?
Right now, I'm saying contender. They're doing the right stuff. They're playing well. They're playing good on both sides of the ball. They seem to have like a real momentum and confidence going. And to me right now, they're a contender.
Number 1 defense in the NFL. Not really particularly close.
Yeah.
And Lamar is playing well. Odell with his first touchdown catch of the season. Things are trending upwards. My Chiefs, man.
Contenders, absolutely.
You think so? Absolutely?
Yeah. Until Pat Mahomes retires, they're contenders. No, I'm just serious. Like that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like he's that good. Like he's gonna keep you around. Like you even with like a depleted roster and all that other stuff, like you still go into a game like with a puncher's chance that he'll find a way.
Yeah, but this receiver thing is really bothering me.
Oh, I know it is. And
these guys stink, man.
They're vulnerable for sure, but like when we look at there's no contender without warts, and I'm still going with the best player on the earth.
Yeah. One team that doesn't seem to have a wart is the Bengals, though. Contender, pretender.
Contender now, yeah.
Yeah.
To me, the two best rosters, teams, top to bottom, are Philadelphia and Cincinnati. That they're the two best. They're the strongest two-way teams.
Whoa, what about the 49ers? Their roster can stack up.
They're not playing at that level. They've dropped. I mean, Brock Purdy's been exposed a bit.
Yeah, Purdy's.
I think he is. To me, he's, and I said this a couple weeks ago, like very similar to Tua. Like he's a bright guy. He can get rid of the ball and make decisions. But when you make the game tough for him, where things are off schedule and he's got to conjure stuff up, he's not that level of player.
It's funny, man. The NFL, and it happens so many times year after year. When they get a hold of you, and there's something on tape that they see, like one team. If one team can do it, it's like the other teams, even with different personnel, worse teams, whatever, they're gonna do the exact same thing until you prove that you can beat it or something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just like Purdy was like this MVP candidate. He was fucking Joe Montana. Literally, we were hearing. He was fucking awesome. And then all of a sudden, one team managed to like control him and stop him. And then all of a sudden, he's been below average ever since. Average or to below average.
He's shook.
And
to me, like I don't know like what the one team did. Like to me, they had the game where they lost weapons.
Yeah.
McCaffrey went out of a game. Debo went out of the game. They didn't look good at that point when they didn't have those weapons.
Yeah.
And then that kind of triggered, and Debo hasn't been back since. And so they're not playing at full strength. And the fact is, Purdy's not good enough to do much more than kind of like manage a game and make the throws. And that when he's got to do more, he falls short.
Now, they've taken 3 L's in a row, and they coming off a bye week.
And they're going to take a 4th L up there in Jacksonville with me in attendance,
They're
man.
playing at Jacksonville,
and me and Camden are
you
going to
to
be in the crowd.
your son right there, he likes the Jaguars.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough game for those guys, man.
And
Jacksonville is a solid team.
I was going to say, if Jacksonville wins this game, I put them in the contender class. They'll be 6-2 or something like that at that point.
I think they lost 3. Oh, let's see. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. They've only lost 2 games.
Yeah, and if they get over that game, and
Kansas City and Houston,
and that's I think they're in the contending group. I mean, again, pretty high level quarterback play, some multiple weapons on offense.
I still wouldn't believe in them.
Yeah.
Now they have a favorable schedule. I'm looking at this. They have a favorable schedule down the stretch. The only 2. I'll tell you this: they on this schedule. They have Tennessee, they have Houston, they have Tampa Bay, they have Carolina, they have Tennessee again. But they do play Cincinnati, and Baltimore. Those are 2.
Yeah, I mean the reality is their division is pretty weak. So they kind of feast on those teams. That's like 8 of your games or 7 of your games, 6 of your games. But yeah, no, and again, it's a pretty good football team, and Doug Peterson's a pretty good football team.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I put them in a contender position at this point. I wouldn't. I still think the 49ers are contenders. I don't think they're pretenders, but they're not in that upper group.
Buffalo Bills.
Pretenders. I just think there's something internally off with that team that they're not all in together. And they'll get beat by a better team in an important game. Kind of like they did against Cincinnati this week. I thought that was like that's who beat them last year, and they kind of went out with a whimper.
Do you believe in the Lions?
More of a pretender. More of a pretender. They're in a status without the pedigree. Like for me, they're like a show me you're real.
So what's the difference between Detroit and Jacksonville? Same record.
Jacksonville's playoff run last year was significant. They had that 4-touchdown comeback against San Diego or the Chargers, and then they went and they didn't beat the Chiefs obviously, but they stood in with the Chiefs for a while. They're going to get to the playoffs, and they've been there before. They know what this is about, and they dug themselves out of a hole in a playoff game last year. I think that's the difference. Okay. Detroit's just learning how to win a few games.
I can go for that. I'm going to give you one more here. Seattle.
Pretender. I just don't think that there's anything special going on with that team. They're not a bad team, but you don't get a vibe like they got anything particular going on.
Yeah. I kind of tend to agree with most of those, if not all.
I want to
I'm
shout out
not a Jacksonville guy yet, though.
I want to shout out Josh Dobbs. Like that was pretty damn amazing. Like he gets traded middle of the week, doesn't really have like a formal practice or reps with the starters, steps into a new team, new situation, and then has to come off the bench because the other guy's injured, and has a really solid game. Yeah, and he's a guy. I mean, he's a journeyman. He's bounced around this league for a number of years now. Never really been even close to being a starter until the situation in Arizona this year. And then he gets traded out of that. And he's just making the most of this opportunity. And he does. I mean, he genuinely seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Like just a good guy. And I'm super happy for him. And what an accomplishment. Don't underestimate what that took.
No, not at all. Not at all. Once again, you're on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're going to finish up with some basketball here. Giannis has been ejected. They were up. They were up pretty big in the third. And then Detroit, once our guy Giannis got ejected, they went on a huge run. Detroit did. Dame could not hold down the fort.
Imagine that.
And now they're down 7 in the fourth. Last time I looked, Milwaukee was up by like 15. And there's 5 minutes left. Cade is having a good game. Speaking of, we were just talking about him.
Yeah.
And then we got the Thunder up on the Cavs with a couple minutes left in the fourth. Shai Gilgeous is having an awesome game. And Chet is playing solid. And then what else do we have here? You know what I wanted to talk about? I saw Daryl Morey was on Suns and Bulls are battling. They're tied up with about 4 minutes to go.
Beal's playing tonight, right?
Beal's playing tonight. Modest minutes though.
Okay.
Bad game so far. Durant is balling. But Grayson Allen's having an awesome game too. Daryl Morey was on my favorite Sixers podcast. And they were talking to him. Now, one thing I don't like, when I'm watching something and it's an interview, like, I like people to, the podcast is Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. And I like for people to address the elephant. And they never address the damn, like, ask the question, what was there anything promised to James Harden? What did you, I guess, you know, there's a couple things I had. Maybe Daryl could have said, "Hey, I'm not talking about that." If you ask, and then B, maybe, or maybe they could have. They wanted to, like, you know, they didn't want to piss him off or something, so he could come back on again. But
yeah, you got to look at. I mean, you know, we would hope that we would be fearless in asking the right questions, but there's a couple dynamics. Either you're an independent podcast, but your base is the Sixers.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got to be okay with the Sixers.
Yeah.
To get guests, to get content, to get access. You can't you can't piss somebody off so bad that, you know, you're basically unwelcome anywhere around the building.
Yeah.
Or you're kind of almost like a pseudo in-house podcast where you're just, you know, you exist to serve up the softballs and make everybody look good. So you're really one of the two places. Now, national level, you kind of have the freedom to kind of, I think, go at people and ask those questions because your base is bigger and we're not dependent. We could piss the Sixers off. It doesn't matter. We'll keep talking about it.
And I think that's understandable part. It's just something that I wish they would have done. But yeah, I could definitely understand that part. But now, and one thing I always say, because, you know, from the very beginning when we got more, I always, you know, I said this. I said, win, lose, or draw. I thought this was a great hire, and I think he's going to turn his team around. And he has. Now, being a GM, you're going to make some questionable moves, some bad moves here or there, but he's made some incredible moves, and I just love where we're at right now. We have the flexibility, and to spin Ben Simmons, who's not a good basketball player, into James Harden, who we learned to just be past his prime, and to now flip that into just ultimate flexibility, to where the leadership before him had drained us of every single pick, of every single fucking dollar he had, and he had a blank fucking canvas, and now he's created this masterpiece. Not a masterpiece. He's created good art, and
I'm glad you pumped the brakes on that.
he created good art, and it has the potential. This next move and this is the reason why I'm bringing this up. This next move could make it a masterpiece, right? So he has to complete the job. But so now we have this flexibility to go out and get this one. People are saying 2 max players, but that's really false because we haven't paid Maxey yet. Maxey is going to fill one of those spots, so we can get 1 max player with this. Or just fill the team out. Here it goes. So, and here goes the thing. So we beat Boston tonight, a good team. And the thing about it, Philadelphia 76ers is the only team so far. I know it's a young season, but we're the only team that beat top 5 offense, top 5 defense. The only team in the league. All right. And we weirdly have this team constructed where we have all these good wing players who are two-way players. Even Oubre, this is the best defensive season Oubre's had this year. And he's also, been providing the offensive end. And so you have all these guys that are really playing defense. Joel is protecting the rim. I've been like contemplating like I'm the fucking GM. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in this situation because do you ride this team out? Because this team is a competitive team. But you have to believe. I would believe this team has a ceiling that's not a championship level. But hell, that we're the number 1 team in the East so far. I mean, what the fuck can you do if you're talking about making a major move? Because this next move is this is it, right? So, and then you think about available players, not playing fucking NBA 2K where it's like, oh, let's bring Luke over here. I'm talking about of available, realistic players. I've gone back and forth. I used to be a big Zach LaVine guy. Remember me and John Pekavich?
Yeah, years ago.
And I've been proven right. But yeah, so screw you, John. I've been proven right that Zach LaVine has become a good NBA player. And I said, and at first I was like, this is the guy I want. This is the guy because he's going to come in, and he hasn't been a part of the winning organization yet. He's going to come in. But now I'm like, Zach he's a scorer. He's a good scorer, but he gets hurt a lot. Doesn't play any defense. He's not a playmaker. I don't know if he's going to fit what we have going on. He's going to take away shots from Oubre and, God forbid, Tobias.
He'll take away shots from everybody.
From everybody. He had 50 points and 0 assists just a week ago.
He's taking shots, not creating.
Okay. And then the rumors are spreading around about Siakam, Siakam is on the block. I don't want Siakam. I'm not a Siakam guy anyway, but especially for this team, the spacing to be bad. I'm just not, and on top of that, I'm not a Siakam guy. That'd be gross. Okay?
Gross.
That'd be gross on this team. Okay? Now, OG is a guy that's been rumored. I like an OG on this team. When you say OG is a really nice two-way player.
But so what is it? Are you talking about guys that could be had at the trade deadline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right now up until the deadline. Right.
Okay.
Right,
okay. So that's the thing. Now, would that compromise your ability to sign a max guy next year?
Yes. Yes.
And you're okay with OG?
Yes. Like if OG was the deal, I'm great. I'm happy.
Okay.
Not over the moon. I'm going to tell you the trade I'd be over the moon about, but I'm happy with that move, right? OG comes because he's a young player. He fits our timeline with Maxey and his other guys, and he's a really good two-way player, and he's not going to upset the apple cart anywhere. Okay. Okay. Now the one I'd be over the moon about is the initial trade that they say Morey turned down for Ben Simmons, which is Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield. Okay, I think if you can get those two guys, because even though Maxey has shown the leap this year was playmaking, and he has shown that he can be a point guard in this league if you need him to be, but he's still not a natural point guard. And if you move him back to his natural position at the 2, and then you have Halliburton, who is a defensive guard still, he's a two-way player. He can guard the other team's best guard that you have there. And then you have Buddy Hield coming off the bench sniping threes. He's still top 10 3-point shooter in the league this year. That's the trade I'll be over the fucking moon about.
Really?
Yeah. You do that trade right now, and then I'm back gambling. I'm betting the house. I'm betting the farm. That's it.
I'm not saying that's a terrible shot. I see the upside in it, but I do feel like you need more of a two-way wing, like that can guard bigger guys.
Well, we have those,
but who's long term?
Oh, it doesn't. Well, you can re-sign any of those guys.
Well,
so you have Covington and you have Batum. You have Covington, Batum, Tobias. Right now you have Covington, Batum, Tobias, and Oubre. That's more than enough. And you have to trust those guys. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, like, if I'm looking for an ideal, kind of like third star, if that's the move I'm trying to make, and that this is a guy, whether we acquire him under a contract or we acquire him short term with the idea that he's going to be our other max guy, I'm looking more toward higher level wing guys, not that sort of cast of veterans
that's
and
OG.
stuff like that.
Well, then that's OG, and like I said, I'm fine with OG.
But I mean, I wouldn't want to spend max money on him.
You're gonna have to.
Yes, I'm not super comfortable with that.
I'm okay with it.
If you could get him at sub-max money, I like it a lot more.
Yeah, you're not. But I'm okay with it because it's.
But I think the problem is you will, like, he'll become the new Tobias Harris.
No, hell no.
He will.
No.
He will.
Oh, he's not.
Because
he's a better player.
But in that dynamic of that team, with Maxey growing in his role and Embiid being all that he is, like, he's gonna basically settle into being like the third wheel. And then you're going to be sitting there, like, looking at his statistical contribution going, God damn, we're paying that guy the max.
No. That's much different. The problem with Tobias is he's not great or good at anything. He's okay at everything. And you don't pay up. That's basically my crutch, right? He's you got Jason Tatum scoring 50 on him. And then he's on the other end missing layups, wide open. He led the league last year and missed wide open layups. My max player cannot lead the league and missed anything. Okay, that's not OG, and OG is entering his prime. Right, he's entering his prime. Tobias it's over. He's exiting his prime.
I'm not saying it's the exact same player, but I'm just saying that, like, I still think. I mean, I like OG. I don't like him as a max player, and that's the bigger picture.
And that's fair, and I could be fair, but and like I said, I'm not over the moon.
Yeah,
but I'm fine with it. Also, you got to take into account of the reason why you want to do this now and not later is because the free agent class. It's all the old guys. Kawhi, Paul George, LeBron, all of those guys are free agents. I don't want any of those guys.
No.
And then who knows who's the next? Like, Miami really should fucking pack it up and go home, but they're never going to because they're always going to have that feeling, well, we had a bad regular season last year, and we lost the play-in game, so we're fine. But really, Jimmy would be awesome. If they would say fuck it and we'll start over, and But I'm literally just talking about realistic guys who have been on the trade block, who can be moved, who make sense, right?
Yeah.
And or teams that are like struggling, and you look at their star and say, okay, what can happen here? You know what I mean? And that's it. So and a lot of this in NBA, timing is so important, right? Because teams, like, if you bottom out and fucking LeBron James is there and you have the first pick, awesome. Well, but fuck, if Ben Simmons is there, the first pick, you're screwed, right? And timing is so important.
What is like who's highly regarded right now as the next year's draft?
That's true too.
I don't. I mean, I'm asking because I haven't heard any names being bandied about.
Not yet.
I feel like we already knew about, like, Victor.
We knew Victor a couple years ahead of time.
Scoot, and the names were out there. So right now I don't have a sense at all of.
We had even heard of Chet. We had heard their name too.
Well,
Scoot.
Chet outplayed Amani Bates in, like, a high profile head-to-head matchup, and to me that's when I first became aware of Chet as a rising guy.
Yeah.
Because Amani Bates at one point was like.
Yeah,
the best player in high school, any class, when he might have been like a sophomore or something.
Yeah.
And so Chet kind of supplanted him as the top guy in that class, and with that came some big expectations. But so far I haven't heard any particular names about what we're looking at or whether it's regarded as a strong class or not draft wise.
I would guess against that.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Suns and Bulls are tied up. 15 seconds to go. Suns have the ball.
There you go.
So we'll see if KD gets it done. Did you see LeBron pass on the final shot? People are talking about that.
I missed that.
Yeah, against the Heat. I'm pretty sure it was against the Heat. He had a chance to win the game. He passed it to I forgot his name, but he passed it and he missed his three.
Reeves?
No, not Reeves. It was a wing. It was a wing who they just got. Let me see if he played today. The Lakers just lost big time to the Rockets. It was Cam Reddish.
Okay.
He had passed to Cam Reddish in the corner, and Cam missed it. Which Cam misses everything.
He's a bum.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that like a lot of people kind of liked, and
did.
It's never.
He started with the Knicks, right?
I thought he started with the Hawks.
Hawks, okay.
And then
Hawks.
got moved to the Knicks, and now he's just a pathetic journeyman.
I had higher hopes for Christian Wood.
He really had the one good year on a bad Rockets team, and
that was pretty much it.
Because you got to think about it, like Dallas wouldn't have moved on from him if he was any good.
Yeah, I mean, because they were in desperate help of anything.
And they had him, I thought, on a relatively team-friendly deal. It wasn't like they were overpaying him.
No, not at all.
So yeah, that was significant that he wasn't.
And Austin hasn't taken a jump. Reeves, he hasn't taken a jump.
No.
He's been pretty much the same guy from last year.
That's to me, that's the Lakers hype machine, bro.
Yeah.
If you're like, I mean, I go back to like Jordan Clarkson, Kuzma, Reeves, Caruso. Like when you're like a little complimentary part with some promise in LA, you just get overhyped, and that's it. Like, I mean, Clarkson's basically developed into being a fairly upper tier 6-man.
Yeah.
He could definitely score in an NBA game. Caruso's like a nice two-way player. Kuzma's an ass clown. But like when they're with the Lakers, they get so overhyped for whatever reason. And then they're just not going to live up to that.
Dame Dollar, man, stepped up.
Did he?
Yeah, man.
Oh, they got the win?
Made some crazy big buckets down the end. Yeah,
that's
they're
crazy.
winning by 4 now with 40 seconds left.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny that he got it going.
He did. And then KD missed the game winner, so they're going to overtime.
Overtime it is.
All righty, man. I'm going to get home and watch this Warriors-Nuggets game. They're playing.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a good game to watch.
Very solid.
You have been on the bench. See you guys next week.